example, there are two aspects of God called Nirguna and Saguna. Literally speaking, a guna means a quality or a characteristic in a form. Thus the prefix nir means without. So Nirguna means without form, and Saguna means with form. So we can think of God in terms of a nothingness or an everythingness, you could say. God can be experienced in two aspects, as Nirguna and Saguna. Nirguna is the eternal, all-pervading and omnipresent divine consciousness. You can think about it as a great spaciousness in which the whole universe exists. And Saguna is the manifestation of God in form. You can think of that as the whole universe. The sun is a graphic simile for this. Sunlight is the Nirguna form of the sun, and the celestial body is the Saguna form. When the source manifests in form, he appears to be limited by his form, but his presence is unlimited and all-pervading. Nothing exists without the source's presence. The source is omnipresent and absolute. The source is in everything, and everything is in that source. The source exists in everything that we call good, as well as in everything we describe as bad. In God, there is no limitation or differentiation, only unity. Nirguna God is pure energy, the living and conscious power that is at work in the universe. Reality, the Supreme Self, is Nirguna. In the Katha Upanishad, it is said, Paramatma, which refers to the higher self, Parama meaning supreme, Atma meaning soul or self, is the same everywhere, in every world, on every level throughout the entire cosmos. Until you recognize this, you will continue to be reborn. Paramatma remains the same in past, present, and future. It is the same in the heart of an ant or an elephant, in every living being. It is the cause of everything. But how can one reach Nirguna God? How can one meditate on God? How can one become one with God? Our true self is Nirguna. It is shapeless. It has no form. The opposite of this is Saguna, our physical body, which we will have to leave one day. In essence, we are permanently connected with Nirguna. We are Nirguna, but we are not conscious of this. Within the universal divine phenomenon, which is a funny word introduced referring to a spacious presence, almost like an aura, we exist as tiny individual phenomena, little fields of energy. Each one of these phenomena possesses its own qualities. The individual phenomenon, the Jivatma, the individual soul, is like a delicate, iridescent soap bubble. In the center of this quote-unquote bubble is the Atma, the self, hidden and encased in the 5 koshas, the sheaths, the layers of being that we described in previous sections. Atma is a tiny spark of light, the essence of Paramatma, the higher self. And welcome Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Hello Krishnan. Hello Hari and hello MJ. Hello Gule. The relationship between Jivatma, Atma and Paramatma, and also between Saguna and Nirguna, can be clarified by a comparison with water. Any water on our planet has its origin in the ocean, just as the Atma, the self, existing within us has its origin in the Source, the Supreme Self. We can compare water transformed by the addition of different flavors or colors with the Jivatma and its personal qualities, and the Atma, the essence of the ocean, the essence of the higher personality with pure water, and Atma, the essence, I just read that, the essence of the higher personality with pure water. Just as a drop of water is part of the ocean, the Atma, the Self, is eternally a part of the Source. Quantity plays no role in this. It is only the quality and nature that are important. And we would never describe a drop of water as the ocean. When water rises in tiny drops from the ocean, we call it mist or fog. When this moisture rises up into the sky, it becomes known as clouds and rain. When it falls down again, the limited individual existence of a raindrop comes to an end when it unites with other drops in a lake, a stream, or river, and the existence of a river ends when it flows out into the ocean after a long journey. Then all the drops of water that had united in the river again become the ocean. In the same way as the drops of water reunite with their source, the ocean, our limited individual existence and consciousness will one day reunite with their source, the unlimited divine essence. Only the same qualities can unite. Only the same can become one. For as long as we still carry our personal qualities and karmas with us, union with the divine is not possible. Before we can attain God realization, we must shed all those feelings, thoughts, and qualities that are obstacles to the development of divine principles. Hola Mariham. Hello Gabriella. Our true self is not the body, nor the feelings, nor the thoughts, and neither is it the intellect, nor our qualities. The self is energy, vibration. It is in constant motion. It is only because of the ignorant notion that we do not know God that a difference exists between the self and God. God realization means self-realization. And at the same time, self-realization is God realization. Those who have not yet realized their self cannot realize God, and those who have not experienced God do not know who they themselves are. It is everyone's goal to reach God again. We are all travelers, and each soul is striving to return to God, either consciously or unconsciously. Just as a stone falls to the earth because of gravity, and a river flows into the ocean because of the gradient, an elemental force of attraction draws us back to our source. We are all seeking that source, our true self. God is actually within us. But until we recognize this, we feel cut off and lost in time and space. God in Nirguna form is in fact everywhere and in everything, but this is not easily comprehensible or appealing to our human intellect. The ultimate goal of humans is to become one in consciousness with the Nirguna form of the divine, but the medium through which we can reach this goal is the embodied form of God, Saguna. It is difficult, or almost impossible, for our intellect to grasp and understand the universal, eternal, all-conscious and omnipresent divine energy. It is much easier for us to have a divine incarnation as a figurehead towards whom we are able to direct our feelings. In the Saguna aspect, God appears, perhaps from time to time in a human form, making it easier for us to come closer. There have been many divine incarnations in every age to show people the path to Nirguna, God. If we want to send a message in a bottle out into the ocean, one sure way would be to throw it in a large river. In this way, it will certainly reach the ocean sooner or later. In the same way, if we follow the river of consciousness of a divine incarnation, we will reach the ocean of Nirguna, formlessness, safely. When we trust in His guidance, we will definitely reach the goal. In this way, Saguna Bhakti, formful love and devotion to God in a form in which we are able to perceive and worship God, develops quite naturally from Nirguna, formless Bhakti, the realization of the divine will. Lord Krishna speaks about Saguna in the Bhagavad Gita, specifically the 7th verse of the 4th chapter. Whenever righteousness is on the decline and unrighteousness is on the increase, I appear in the material world. From age to age I come into being to protect the good, destroy the bad, and consolidate righteousness. From time to time, the divine light, the power and wisdom of God manifests in a human body. Personalities who are born as perfect and realized ones are called avataras, literally meaning descending or descensions. Divine incarnations. They come to earth as liberators and saviors to teach people the eternal truth and inspire them to follow the spiritual path. Hello, dear Jackie. They are the Satgurus, the divine masters. Divine incarnations live in the world just like us. Externally, there is no difference to other people. Their body consists of earthly elements and is subject to the same laws of nature. But their mind and consciousness stands above all the laws and limitations of nature. Unlike the rest of us, divine incarnations are not born due to karmic consequence, but come of their own free will and are totally aware of their divine origin and their mission on earth. There is one question that constantly concerns people. Why the number of divine incarnations on earth? There is only one God who has neither form nor name. It is the human mind that has created many different images and forms of God. God is known as Holy Father, Allah, Ishvara, Divine Will, Cosmic Principle, Universal Consciousness, Love, Supreme Self, etc. There are probably as many images and names of God as there are people on the planet. Each person has an impression of God according to their own level of spiritual development and forms their own mental image of the Source. Everyone expresses their worship for the divine in their very own way. A person devoted to God, a bhakta in Sanskrit, is never alone. A bhakta always feels connected to God and lives happily and contentedly with whatever happens. That person thinks of God, meditates on God, speaks about God, and avoids anything that can distance them from God. Everything a bhakta does is done for God. And this is a form of yoga called Bhakti-Yoga. God accepts responsibility for and takes care of those bhaktas who consecrate their lives and themselves to Him. There are 4 cornerstones to spiritual life: bhakti, loving devotion; jnana, wisdom, knowledge; vairagya, renunciation of material things; and satsang, spiritual company. Therefore, pray to the divine to bless you with these 4 gifts. But if it seems to be a little presumptuous to ask for so much, then pray for only one, the most important one: bhakti. Bhakti gives us divine light and everlasting bliss. There is a story related to this in the Ramayana, an Indian epic. And hello, dear Kelsey. Hello, Space Dust. Hanuman, the loyal devotee and helper of Lord Rama, took himself off to Sri Lanka to look for Rama's abducted wife, Sita. When he finally found her and was able to approach her secretly, he gave her a ring from her husband to identify him and also to encourage and comfort her. Sita was supremely happy to experience anything of her beloved Rama, and wanting to reward Hanuman, asked if he had a wish. Hanuman said, "Mother, there is only one thing I wish for. Give me bhakti in every life." Hanuman then returned to Rama and delivered the joyful news that he had found Sita and she was alive. Joyfully, Rama said, "Hanuman, for these glad tidings, tell me what it is that you wish for. Whatever you desire, a kingdom, siddhis, which means spiritual powers, treasure, I am prepared to give you anything." But Hanuman again implored, "Lord, I wish only for bhakti, for your loving devotion, for loving devotion to you." Finally, when victory over the demon king had been won and Sita had been freed, they all returned happily to Ayodhya, which is the capital of Rama's kingdom, safe and sound. Those who had stood by Rama were richly rewarded. When it came to Hanuman's turn to receive his gift, Sita took a priceless pearl necklace from her neck, wishing to present it to Hanuman. But he refused, saying, "Mother, you have promised to give me bhakti. There is nothing else I desire." Bhakti was 1,000 times more valuable to Hanuman than wealth, glory, or fame. There are 2 types of bhakti, Nirguna and Saguna, and both are equally important. For as long as we are able to understand God and the spiritual master in both aspects, Nirguna being formless and Saguna having a form, and believe in them, we cannot attain moksha, liberation, or spiritual transcendence. We should recognize and realize both forms. Whoever has doubts about the Saguna form of God is also unable to realize the Nirguna aspect, and likewise, meditating only on the Nirguna, the formless aspect, without having Saguna, the formful God within your heart, will not lead you to the goal. Unfortunately, in many cases, people's visions of God have become misguided and dogmatic, and historically have given rise to numerous rivalries, disputes, and so-called holy wars, which are still occurring today. There are no wars that are holy. God, who has created the entire world, loves each and every living entity equally. For God, no religion is given precedence. A God who claims to be Christian, Hindu, or Muslim is definitely not God, because in God there is no duality. Such limitations are the work of humanity and cause much suffering in the world. Often we come across the narrow-minded and fanatical view that my faith and my God are the best and all others are false, or at least inferior. It is just like children squabbling over whose father is the best. And just as the parents of each one are the best parents for them, the form of God that we love and worship is the right and best form for us. With the knowledge that there is only one God who has been given many different names and forms by those who love God, our attitude to other religions and systems of belief should always be shaped by tolerance and respect. When we are able to see, honor, and love God in every one of our fellow humans, we are certainly on the right path. Thank you for listening. That was a longer passage, but definitely one that deserves to be heard in full on the nature of Nirguna and Saguna Brahman. Next time we'll talk about Shiva and Shakti, on consciousness and energy. Thank you for listening. Om Namah Shakti Shivaya.